What's up, everyone? I'm Shadeen, and welcome to another episode of OUTPour.
Yes!
Yes.
This is a show where we are talking everything LGBTQ pop culture and social justice. This week's episode is special because we are talking all about the ass. Of course, that's what happens when you have a show that's written by Black gay men. But I digress.
What do you think makes good anal care?
An anus.
Protection, number one. Making sure you wash daily.
First of all, you need to make sure you're clean. Some people are okay with that, and that's perfectly fine. It is, you like what you like, but you gotta make sure all your shit's good so the sex is good.
Do you top or bottom?
Both.
Okay. So, let's say if you're topping, right? And, there's a little accident back there, maybe he had a little too much broccoli.
Stop.
Okay. So, do you stop or keep going?
Stop.
Are you shit shaming?
I'm not.
No, you never should shame
Oh,
because
so you get him a towel
yeah, kind of, yeah.
and you hold them afterwards and say, baby, it's okay?
Yeah, because it happens. I mean, you're hitting the back door. Anything's gonna come out the back door, so you have to, yeah.
When I'm having sex, I'm horny. So, depending on what it
Depending on the
may be,
movie, you okay with it?
I'm not
like a true
okay
sign.
with it, but it's like I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you ask for it to be rainy and wet, sometimes you get a little mud. So we understand that. What kind of lube should somebody use?
Gun oil.
I'm actually really surprised that people would go into so much detail with Rob.
Yeah.
So people are really loving anal sex. Why? What makes it so great?
I love the texture. Now, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I love the way. Now, there's certain holes that don't work, but I love anal sex. I think it's just something meaty about it.
When you say the texture, what do you mean? Do you mean like how it feels?
How
or?
it feels.
Bra
It just-
or
no,
condom?
Depends on the day.
Does it feel the same? Does it feel the same with both?
Nasty.
Does it feel the same with both?
I think. Well, I never had both.
I've
I'm
never
sorry.
had
I'm
both either.
solid gold gay. So.
Okay, look, this.
So let's talk first times. For anyone who has tried anal, what was your first time like?
It was horrible. The dick was too big. Thank God I didn't shit on him, but the dick was very big. He had fleas in the basement. We're not talking about that, right? He tried to wear me out, but I stopped him. So we went real slow until he buzzed.
The very first time he tried to wear you out?
Yeah, he didn't.
But you
No
took it like a champ, bitch.
mercy.
No, I screamed the whole time, but I still took it.
Yeah.
So, oh, you want me to go?
Well, I don't know.
Ladies first.
I feel like
Ladies
for me, my very first time having anal sex was a little raunchy. My very first time having anal sex was actually in a teacher's bathroom at school. in
was
the
it the
eighth
teacher?
grade. It was not. It's not a teacher, but it hurted so fucking bad. Like once it went in, like we had it ended there. Like that was the extent of the first time because for me, like I couldn't take it. Like the pain was really
Spit
Eh.
bad.
or lube?
Neither.
Oh, you that wet?
Neither. It was neither. It was just.
You was that wet in eighth grade?
Organic.
Come on, in eighth grade.
So
It was what it was.
I think for me, I remember my first time. I was in high school, and it happened in the high school bathroom, and it was just like I went to a performing arts high school, so I was like really, it was homosexual central. But but what I will say is that when I initially had anal sex, I just did it because I liked somebody, and it was just more like, let's get this over with, because that's what I thought, gay men did. It was I don't know really if I enjoyed it or not.
No,
Yeah.
it's the difference. Your first time topping or your first time being a bottom?
The first time being a bottom.
And I feel like I definitely did not enjoy it. Like the first
Yeah.
time for me, like it was like just a part of sex. Like it was
Yeah.
just a part of
Right.
like happening. But like I didn't enjoy it. I didn't start to learn how to have good sex and actually start to enjoy anal sex until I was like into my early 20s. You know,
Yeah.
and it's like I'm mid 20s.
Let's talk more about that because a lot of folks who are wanting to try anal are really worried about it hurting the first time. What can people do to make it more pleasurable?
Well, I think first of all, I think it definitely you need to be in a safe space to be able to do it and enjoy it. Some of us do.
Little shade?
But what I'm saying is that you need to be in a safe space. You need to be able to trust the person you're with.
Yes.
And I think for the first time, I think that's really important in any sexual experience.
For me, I think that lube is really important for anal sex. And the reason I think that lube is important is because I feel like it helps, kind of just ease it and to make it, less painful, so to speak, and kind of make it more enjoyable. It makes it feel better.
I think for me, douching is a part of good sex too, because you don't want to have you want to paint nobody's hot dog with your ass. So the right douching, I put a little soap, good soap, not the type that burn your asshole. I know you're not supposed to use fruit juice, but I do a little bit of that. But
What is it?
Everything
It
comes
sounds
back-
like he's preparing a goddamn salad.
Concoction or something. Like, what is this?
I mean, come on now. Like, so what would you tell a young man in Boise, Idaho, who wants to, take it for the first time? What would you tell him? How would you tell him how to prep?
here, hot water, warm water works for me. Warm water works perfectly for me. You take the what's the tip of it?
The tip of the what?
Insert it of your dish, or is it? I call it a slut bottle, a fleet bottle.
Okay, a fleet
A
bottle.
sleep flat bottle, whatever.
A fleet
Sorry.
A fleet bottle.
Yeah, a fleet bottle. Insert it up your butthole.
Now, how do you
now
insert it?
me,
You insert it
I
sit
put
down,
my
or you
foot
go-
on the
you-
sink.
Oh, you put it on the
and
sink
lift
and
up.
go in.
Yeah,
All right.
nasty way.
I would love a reenactment of this.
So when I was, because when I was younger, I would never forget. I was dating someone, and that's what he liked. So and the first time I had sex, I didn't douche because I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
But so he basically did it for me.
He what?
He did it for me.
So was he showing you how to dish, or was
No,
he?
literally did it for me. So I went in, I get down, up my remote, and I go like this, and he does it for me. It's crazy.
More than once.
More than once.
Did you feel taken care of?
Yes.
Wait,
I
you
would
have
have
to
too.
do a
I
few
would've
rounds
thought-
of that.
I
Like
would've-
anytime I've you have to do a few rounds of that. So did y'all do that a few times, or was it just?
No, just once or
Okay.
twice. No, I think he did it twice. But at that time, I didn't know if I was a top or a bottom because I was still exploring sex in general. So at that time, I was young, so I thought everybody was a bottom. I thought gay men were just organic, innately bottom.
And it's only a few rounds if you had a couple of cheesesteaks. For
Well-
me, it's one time.
No, I definitely get that, but I was always taught you have to do it until the water is clear. And for me, my diet is high in fiber, so that's not something I have to worry too much about. That's when
Hemorrhoids?
Uh-oh.
Not me. I'm asking.
Now, that's something. This is what I don't understand about some LGBT people who do engage in anal sex. How is it that you do not, I have, spread the cheeks plenty of times, and I've found mushrooms and all kinds of shit growing down there. Now you're telling me that you don't know what's going on down there? Honey, you got to get up and take that mirror, and you got to check.
Does,
Right.
does,
See what's going
does
on
everyone
down there.
check? Does everyone
I check.
look at themselves?
You should. If you don't, you're doing yourself a disservice. Especially black gay men. Come on now.
How often should people be doing things like douching or checking?
Well, I dish every day. I know that's not what you're supposed to do, but you
I
never
need
know
to
what
dish
piece of
every
tree
day.
you're gonna meet on the
Well,
corner,
when you
and he wants you to be
engage-
ready.
Well, that's true. I was gonna say that's you have a point there. I was gonna say. I
So
don't
for
know.
me, it's every day. I know with hot water, if I know I'm gonna have sex, I might throw a little soap in, but if I don't, it's hot water.
Yeah, I definitely don't need to dish every day. Dishing is not something that's, like a regular routine thing. For me, it would be something that I would do in preparing around us, me knowing that I'm going to have sex or going to do something. That's the only time I would dish. I wouldn't just like dish and not know that I'm going to have sex.
I just as someone who tops, I always find it really suspicious when people, when tops have issues, when accidents do happen. Because I'm like, if we're engaging in sexual activity on a regular basis, I know that you may not want to do that every day. You may not want to do that all the time. And I'm sure you've had your days. But my thing is that
some of us
I feel like the expectation is you shouldn't be, doing that to yourself every day. And, I feel like as, if you're more of the top or if you're in a versatile relationship, you should definitely be more understanding of, those types of routines.
Yeah. But
now, if it's Valentine's Day, it's a little exception, but I mean, if it's, one of them drunken nights, you might have a couple, some broccoli that afternoon or something, let that go. Let Bay have his little, ain't nothing wrong with it.
And accidents, accidents do happen.
Wait a minute. Now, one more thing,
Yeah.
I've learned as a top, if you just keep it in until you don't smell nothing, then he ain't take care of himself. Don't try all the different positions. Just do it doggy style.
No, it's over.
Don't do that. Just keep it in, do it doggy style. Ain't that right, Bay?
I want to talk about
thought.
accidents a little bit more, right? Because there are a lot of people who feel like I need to douche every single day, which can work, but we also want to be mindful that we don't want to disrupt our internal environment too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so
There we go.
why is there so much stigma around accidents, right? Why is there so much shit shaming?
Because as gay men, we should be cleaner than to have shit coming out our ass when we're getting fucked. I try to be clean. I mean, a couple weeks ago, I had a little accident on somebody, but it wasn't nothing a little soap and water could
Remember,
fix.
little is subjective.
Yeah, just a little juice.
Did they shame you for it? Were you
No,
embarrassed?
he smoked a blunt and waited for me to finish washing
He had
it
to
up.
process that, girl.
real
He had to process that.
He had to
with a
process
weed.
it.
He
And
was a real good one because I feel like for me, when stuff like that happens, it's the end of it. Like it's.
But it
like,
wasn't our
it's
first
time to
time,
wrap it
so
up.
and it's not like it happens often. It happened one time. We've had sex about 100 times.
So shouldn't at some point it be expected, right? That if the initial point of your anus is to release feces, why is everyone so surprised if there is any trace of anything?
I don't get that. I really don't. I've learned, right, that my bottoms respect me more when they do that. They come back because they be feeling all bad, and I'll be like, babe, don't feel bad. I'm gonna give you a little towel wash. I'll go clean yourself up, take care of yourself, and they be like, oh, thank you. And then they be like, they come back even more horny. You make them feel safe. See, that's the problem. See, when you shame them, see, the ass could really be good. They might have just had a bad night. We all have bad nights, you know?
How is it a good sex if he shitted on you?
No. I'm saying it really could be good. He just might have had a bad night. And you always got to have the sex twice just to see if it's good, because the first time could be a fluke.
For me, it's about respect. You should know if you're going to shit on somebody, seriously. And I feel as the top probably feels as though, well, you knew we were going to have sex. You knew my dick is 10 inches. Not mine, but you knew that the dick you were going to take was 10 inches. You don't have a macaroni and cheese and turkey dinner before you get fucked.
So what is someone supposed to eat in prep?
Nothing. You fucking starve.
You starve.
You starve. That's a part of anal sex. Like literally, well, that's a part of my routine. If I'm gonna have sex, I'm not going to eat like leading up into
Well,
it.
what if you go
So
on
your
a date?
choice is
Now-
sex or eating?
Maybe sometimes it boils down to that, baby. Maybe you eat light, so you'll have a salad, or maybe you'll have something super
But
light.
wouldn't that make it rough, like some roughage?
And not in my experience.
Oh.
Not in my experience. In my experience, I've been fine. So maybe an hour before, in between that time, I can have something at that point. But definitely, like leading up to it, the hours prior to, I would not have anything. I would not have anything.
I would hate to have sex because it would take him like hours to get ready.
To prepare, but it takes a lot.
Yeah, and I would be
that's
like, look,
me. It
yo,
takes a lot.
But
It takes a lot.
we're not animals. We don't eat a piece of a cookie and shit it out in 2 seconds.
Right.
I can eat probably a cheesesteak at 8 o'clock, have sex at 3 o'clock, and nothing will happen. Now, maybe 8 hours later, if I don't
I wouldn't do
douche,
that.
something will happen.
That would
But
be-
I'll
it
take
would be a close
risks. And,
call.
don't happen often.
So none of you would be having anal sex spontaneously.
Yeah, that's why I dish every night, just in case.
But he also is lactose intolerant. So.
No, I'm not.
You're not? You can drink milk?
Yeah.
I want to come back to the conversation about lube. I feel like people don't talk about lube very much. And it's one of the most important parts of sex.
Good anal sex. I love it.
Especially for anal sex, because anal sex doesn't lubricate, right? The anus doesn't lubricate itself the way other holes might.
Yeah.
So I would love to know what your favorite lube is.
Oh, can I talk about my favorite?
Please
Only
talk about your
because
favorite.
I've recently discovered it within maybe the past year, 2 years. So they have an insertable lube. So pretty much it's a water-based lube, and you like insert it, and you can prepare and insert this and pretty much use the lube prior to having sex. So therefore, you don't have to have like those awkward moments of like fumbling and trying to find lube upon the, like while you're doing it and stuff like that. And then once he goes in and you start to have sex, you're already wet. So you don't even have to like, he doesn't, know or thinking in his head that like you're putting lube. Baby, that secret sauce right there.
Yeah.
What's that on Amazon?
She ain't no joke.
So that lube turns the anus into self-lubricating hole. Whoa, excuse me?
I tend to like whatever is available, whatever I can grab my hands onto, because
You wonder why they should.
I just grab whatever, because sometimes lube is expensive.
So what do you keep handy? If you're saying that I grab whatever is available, what's handy?
Lube is expensive. We could use, I do have platinum because someone's requested platinum, but I do use platinum. But
Platinum is amazing.
But that's expensive. That's $13.
You have, if you want to, listen, it's $13.
It's $13 a bottle.
If you pay for his Uber ride, you'll pay for his platinum.
Well, I tend to date people with cars.
I can't know if the specific brand, it might have been Astroglide or I don't know. I'll have to see what the specific name of it is. We can put that up so people know, because that is like a miracle.
Yeah.
Finding out about that is like everything. I really love that.
Also, as a top, I do have dishes for my bottoms. I keep them in my closet. Because I don't want them to feel like, oh, I don't have anything. That's all right.
Nice.
I got you.
So you're really big on taking care of them.
Absolutely. That's that therapy in me. I want to make sure,
It's like a nurturing side,
Yeah,
kind
that's
of.
my nurturing side. I got to make sure they all right.
Yeah, it feel good, and I bet you would have a lot better sex because of that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
What about your lubes of choice, Brahim?
Jergens.
Spit.
Lotion?
Sure, yeah, you're trying to burn somebody's hole.
My hoe is cool. I don't know about yours.
Oh,
Jergens lotion. What's that?
Is it hypoallergenic?
$2.50? Huh?
Wait a minute. You really use Jergens?
Yeah, and it comes back with white cream on it, so they don't know if you're coming or if it's the lotion.
It don't burn? It don't burn?
Bitch! This is
Don't burn, really.
shit right here.
So I'm not gonna recommend lotion.
Jergens.
I'll recommend
I won't
it. If you
recommend
have a
lotion,
pretty-
Vaseline,
I'm
petroleum jelly. I wouldn't recommend that.
I'm gonna override that
Yes,
recommendation
as a
real
public health
quick.
advocate, I would not recommend you use Jergens.
Maybe a water-based lube, maybe a silicone-based
Yes.
lube.
If you're gonna use silicone, please do not be wearing
And they do have
condoms.
white
Be mindful of
silicones.
sex
Yeah, because-
toys,
so
different
you can
things
look
like
you're
that.
creaming.
Well, I don't have to look like it. I do cream.
Girl.
What is your best anal sex tip for anyone who's out there watching who wants to spice things up a little?
Use poppers. You ever heard
Use
of poppers?
poppers.
It's this little bottle you sniff, and it makes your muscles loose so that he can be inside you 11 inches, 6 inches, and you probably won't even tell the difference. Nobody had a popper before?
I've tried poppers once.
And
poppers
you
once.
might
And
get a
exactly,
headache.
Yeah, like you said,
but-
you sniff it,
Yeah.
and it has an effect on your body that makes it
And
numb.
it's legal, right.
It kind of makes it numb so that you don't feel the pain as much, so you can get bashed, or so that it won't hurt as bad.
I feel like every time people say things, I want to like ruin it. I'm so worried about decreasing your sensation, because then you can't tell if something is going wrong, right? That I'm like worried about anal tearing.
Eventually you'll feel it, but when
That's
it
how you
goes
get
in,
those mushrooms and stuff.
right? When it goes in, you're cool.
That.
You can have some popcorn, watch TV while he's all.
To each their own, but for anyone who is interested in exploring that, I really would love to make sure that everyone is just safe and aware that if you numb out your sensation, then you probably don't have a great way of telling how things are going. Right? But there is benefit to having things a little bit looser and being a little bit more relaxed. So I hear where that comes from. Other tips that people have that they want to share?
I don't have any tips because I'm not an expert on this, but I would say,
All that ass and no tips?
I know.
Just the tip, baby.
Yeah, just the tip, you know.
Just the tip. Just the tip.
Just the tip, just the head, you know.
Just the tip.
Yeah, because I'm a screamer, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna scream if it's 1 inch. So I ain't good at
You
it.
gotta fake it sometimes.
Yeah, you know.
So what makes it good for you?
I think what makes
Maybe that can
good
be a
anal
tip.
sex for me is really, I like the experience, but not too much experience. I like, you know, I don't like it tight. I know like tops make a big deal about it being tight. I don't really like that shit. I like someone who, you know, got a little experience. You know, maybe like 5 years experience at, you know, one job, not, you know, 3 or 4.
Right,
5.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what I like. I don't really,
So it sounds like you're also talking about sort of that feeling of being like relaxed, a little looser, a little. Okay.
Yeah.
What about for you, Aaron? Any tips?
I feel like my one tip and the one takeaway would be if you have an anus, and especially if you participate in anal sex, you should get an anal pap smear. That's my one thing, the one takeaway that I would have.
Okay. Well, that's all the time that we have for today. I'm going to let you go out and get the lube that you need to have the best experience that you can have. Make sure after that run you come right back here, because next week we are going to be talking about how Black folks, queer folks, LGBT folks of all parts of the spectrum code switch in corporate America. As always, we would like to thank you for the outpour of love and support. We will see you next week.
I've got a rebel